This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone. So let's continue today's session. So we are discussing about Jenkins. Today we covered some of the topics in Jenkins, how we can install uh, installation of Jenkins on Windows, how to install Jenkins and how we can see that UI, what are the prerequisites required for that. We have done that setup. And then we have seen how we can install Jenkins on one of the Linux platforms. We tried on Ubuntu. Similarly, you can try whichever the operating system that you want, um, Red Hat or Amazon Linux. Okay, so you can try some of the things. So once we have the Jenkins UI coming up, once we have the Jenkins UI came up, so we have logged in. So at the time we can see if you want to create some more admin users instead of using the common administrator user, we can create other admin user as well, which we can able to reuse next time login instead of using the common one. So we can create that admin user so that that user has the unlimited permissions with the Jenkins. And other users, if you want to grant some permissions, today we will see how we can create users and all. We have the concept called manage Jenkins over there, where we can see multiple options, how we can manage the users, how we can create new users, how, suppose, let's say if the user forget his password, he will approach us saying that, please reset my password, something like that. So we have to help them to change their password and all. Okay, and we need to download some plugins, kind of manage plugins, already existing integrations, already downloaded plugins. We can directly see the options inside the Jenkins job. If we try to create a Jenkins job, we can see some options like providing Git URL and all, because the Git related plugin is already downloaded in advance. That's why we are able to see that option while creating the Jenkins job. Similarly, if any of that options are not available, that other two specific related options are not available in Jenkins job, means we need to download that plugin, that related plugin, so that the option will come while creating the Jenkins job. Okay, we'll see that option today, how we can install some plugins and all. Along with that, we have seen how to create a freestyle job, small freestyle job, how to create, that we have seen. And I think, yeah, these are the things. And how to integrate. Yesterday we discussed about how to integrate our Jenkins with uh, Codebase. Codebase means we have tried GitHub URL, right? Similarly, you can try with Bitbucket URL. You can try with Bitbucket URL, or you can try with GitLab URL. I think, or GitLab. Any one of these URLs you can able to use it to get some code, to download some code. Okay, give me 1 minute. I need the code of this meeting. One minute, I need the code. One more person is going to join. So these are the options that we have seen yesterday. Okay, so today we will continue from here. How we can create some other jobs as well. Along with the freestyle jobs, we have seen some pipelines, we have seen some folders. There are different options that are available. We'll go through that one. Okay. Uh, First, we will try to start the Jenkins server which we have created yesterday. Just I stopped that on AWS. This we have created on AWS Cloud. So let me start that instance first. So if you go to in EC2, you can find that instance which we have created yesterday. So I have stopped that instance. Let me start it. So once my instance got started, here we'll get some public IP. Okay, so whenever we stop the instance, by default, the public IP will be gone. So we don't see the public IP which is available earlier. So the public IP will keep on rotate. Okay, so the private IP will be kept as it is for an EC2 instance. So let me restart. Yeah, now I got some public IP. If I copy that public IP over here, and if I use 8080 port, so if you were able to access, that's fine. If not, then we have to check whether the Jenkins service is up or not, or is there any firewall related issue why we are not able to log into the Jenkins. Then we have to check. So now, actually what we did yesterday, so in the security group, for that 8080 port is there, right? So we have opened for the current IP. The IP also will get changed every time. So that's why it is not opening. Suppose here you can see it is open for my IP only. Let me try to get for anywhere for now. If I can save, so that everyone, whoever wants to log into this particular URL, they can able to log in. Now you can see it is coming up automatically. First time it will come to this page. If I open one more time with 8080 port, it will come up with Jenkins UI. Okay, so earlier the firewall related blocking is there. Now I have opened my IP with this 8080 port. My IP means here I have opened for all 000 I added so that everyone can able to use this URL to log into the Jenkins. Okay, so now to log in, you can use the administrator user and you can get the password by logging to that EC2 instance and check the password is /var. There is a common location that I told you earlier, right? The default password will be available. This is one of the interview question also in Jenkins. They will ask by default where will be the default password will be stored first time. Okay, so where live Jenkins. If you want, we can change this path actually, but first time this is the default path. Where live Jenkins inside that uh, secrets inside that initial admin password. Okay, this is the location where we can able to find the password of that administrator user. But anyway, we have created some different user yesterday, so I don't want to get the password from there. I have created admin user, one more user, and I have set my own password. Let me sign into that user. Now you can see my Jenkins UI is coming up. So the jobs which we have created yesterday, some job one and job two is there, and last success when it got success, last failure, how many times the job failure, when it is last failed, and how much duration it has taken to execute that job. All those things will be displayed over here. Like that, complete list of jobs will be displayed over here. And suppose let's say if you have multiple jobs, let's say some hundred or thousands of jobs are there, if you want to easily identify what jobs are related to my team, what jobs are related to some particular use case, there is an option which is called My View. Here you can see My Views option is there, right? This will be helpful to create some filters kind of thing, filters or some category kind of thing. Suppose let's say currently here all the jobs will be displayed. Suppose if I created a view, let's say This is creating a new view. Plus symbol is there, right? If I click on new view, suppose let's say view one, or let's say this is team A kind of thing. I'll be creating some team A. So here I can select a list view and my view. My view means all the jobs which are created by the current user will be added to this view. Okay. Suppose list view means it will display all the jobs. You can select whatever you want. Let me try to create. So at the time of creating, it will display all the jobs which are available. Currently, you can see only two jobs are available. Let's say I want to add the job one to the team A. Let me click on apply. That's it. Let's go to the dashboard. Now you can see on the top, team A got added. So now if I select the team A, instead of displaying job 1 and job 2, it will display only job 1. Okay, because job 1 related to team A. Something like the team B if I want to create. So team B. Suppose team B, I want to create my view kind of thing. My view means it will not ask what job you want to select in this particular team. It will add all the jobs which are created by that current user who logged in. Suppose the Fanindra Manan, this user logged in now. So he created these two jobs. So the two jobs will automatically get added to team B. Okay. So now if you go to all, you can see job one, job two. If you go to team A, you can see job one. If you go to team B, you can see job one, job two. So like that, you can add multiple filters kind of thing, multiple views. It will be helpful. Suppose currently here only two jobs. If you have some hundreds of jobs, it will be very easy to see that particular team related jobs and all. For that purpose, this views concept will be helpful. Okay. So if I want to edit my view, let's say team B is there. Team B, I want to edit the view. Let's say I want to delete one of the job or I want to add one more job. At the time, you can use this option. Select that particular view, go to edit view, and inside the edit view, currently we have selected this view as my view, right? All the jobs will be displayed. You can't do much things with this. You can just change either view name or some description, these things only. Okay, you can't do any other things. Suppose if I select team A and if I want to edit that view, so then you can see, suppose let's say I want to add one more job, job 2 also I want to add, or otherwise job 1 I want to remove. Just you can select that, or you can unselect that, whichever you want to do. Just click on apply. Now you can go to dashboard and you can see team A doesn't have any jobs now. Just it is an empty view. Later, any new jobs if you have created, and if you want to create new job directly inside this one, so you can come to that place and you can start creating a new job. Okay. So this is how you can create some views. You can edit the views, and if you want to delete the views, you can do it. So suppose currently I selected team A, I can see delete view option. If I click on delete view, it is asking the confirmation whether you want to delete the view. Yes, I want. Let's click on confirmation. You can see team A got deleted. Okay, this is how you can create some views. And next, in Manage Jenkins, we have multiple other options are there that I want to go to you quickly, because as a DevOps engineer or cloud engineer, we have to manage Jenkins, whatever it is, either creating new users or downloading some plugins or integrating with some any other tools. Okay, everything that will be available in this Manage Jenkins only. So let me spend some time over there instead of creating some jobs and all. Let me go to Manage Jenkins. In Manage Jenkins, there are a lot of options if you see. So at least some of the things which we need mostly that we will cover here. So there is a Manage Plugins option. If I go to Manage Plugins, so you can see multiple options, updates, available plugins, installed plugins, advanced settings are there. So updates means if any of the plugins which are already downloaded by this time. So if there are any updates for that, that will get displayed over here. Currently, there are no updates. The plugins which you have downloaded only yesterday, right? We downloaded some plugins. We created the Jenkins server yesterday only. That's why there are no updates. Suppose if you created the Jenkins server 1 year ago and still you are using and all, So some older plugins, every time it will get updated. Some latest plugins will be, latest updates will be released. So that plugins you can able to update. That updates will be displayed over here. Currently there are no updates. And available plugins means all the plugins which the Jenkins supporting. So Jenkins is supporting lot of plugins. Whichever you want, just you can search for that particular one and you can install that one. That's it. And available plugin will display all the plugins which are available. Installed plugins is nothing but which are installed by this time already. Okay, so already installed plugins, see and plugin, some some other plugins, these are by default already installed. Okay, because at the time of installation of the Jenkins we selected suggested plugins, right? At the time these are installed automatically. Some advanced settings, uh, here it doesn't require much. Suppose if you want to write your own plugin, you can write that plugin and you can able to apply that file over here so that you can see that file also. Okay, but we it doesn't require that much depth for now. So here you can go to available plugins and I'll show you how to download some plugin. Okay, so before going to see that option, let me go to the dashboard. And if I try to create some new item, what are the options are available if you see? Only freestyle project, pipeline, multi, something. There is no Maven project kind of thing over here, right? Suppose if you are trying to create some Maven job, if you are trying to build some Maven job, you need some Maven project kind of thing. It is not there, right? That option itself is not available over here. But after installing that Maven related plugin, let me go to Manage Jenkins. Let me go to Manage Plugins. And if I search for that Maven related plugin, currently it is not installed. That's why we are not able to see that option. Sorry, I'm searching in updates. That's why it is not displaying anything. So you have to go to available plugins and here you can search it. See Maven. If I search for Maven, all the Maven related plugins will come into over here. Now I need Maven integration. This plugin, Maven integration. Let me select that one, whichever you want to download. You can select multiple also, but now I want to download this one only. Suppose if I want to download pipeline Maven integration, let me select multiple. So install without restart means the Jenkins server without restart. I want to download this plugin. Sometimes some plugins needs to be installed the Jenkins restart as well. Okay, at the time it is mandatory. Otherwise the uh, it will not get installed. Okay, so at the time you can download now and install after restart option will be there. Okay, so for now let me try with install without restarting my Jenkins server. Here you can see pipeline Maven integration and the Maven integration. And for this, it requires some dependencies. All those things will get downloaded. Okay, once everything got downloaded successfully, if you go and if you see, now try to create a new item, some Maven project will be added. Earlier it is not there, right? Earlier we can see freestyle project, pipeline and all. Now you can see some Maven project. Now, if you want to create some Maven project, Maven job, that you can able to create it easily. Okay. And if I select this particular project, the way how the job configuration looks like from freestyle to Maven will get changed. Okay. Earlier freestyle, we are seeing some options where we can able to provide some Git URL. Okay. You can able to write some shell script kind of code. We have seen some freestyle job yesterday, right? Similarly, the Maven project also some options will get varied. So we'll see that later how we can create some Maven project and all. First, let me get complete the manage Jenkins. So in manage plugins, you can add new plugin, you can remove the existing plugin, you can delete, okay, you can update, lot of things that you can able to do it. Similarly, inside this one, manage credentials also one thing that we will use mostly. Manage credentials means if I want to add some username and password. So here you can add it. Let me, where I think in global side. Yeah. So in global, you can see some drop down option. Once you put your cursor in global, you can see some drop down option where you can see add credentials option. Here, if you want to add some usernames and passwords, then you can provide that username. Let's say Let me provide my username and password of the GitHub account so that I can reuse to download some repositories and all. Let's say. Mm, GitHub credentials. Let me click on create. Now, if you can see, so the username and the password of that will be displayed over here so that you can use these credentials in any job. Okay. So without seeing that password, you can able to reuse it, reuse the credentials. So currently I uploaded some username, password kind of thing. Like that, it is supporting lot of options. If you see, instead of username and password, let's say I want to upload some private key, some username and some private key, some secret file I want to upload and that I want to reuse, some secret text, some certificates kind of thing. All of those things that you can able to upload and you can able to reuse them inside your Jenkins shop. Okay, for that purpose, this manage credentials options will be helpful. And then, uh, yeah, manage users option is there. So manage users means currently admin user, one user is got created. Suppose if I want to create another user for different team members which are working in my team, let me create user, and I can create some test one, test user I'm creating. Okay, let me create user one instead of, so user one and some password for that particular user. So the full name of that particular user and the mail ID of that particular user. Okay, so once I click on create user, and if I share the credentials with that particular user, he can able to log in with that credentials. Okay, he can able to log in with his credentials. But how we can manage what things he can able to do inside the Jenkins, that is also possible. Okay, so currently admin user, this is using by us, right? So he can do everything, but the user one, we don't want to give the entire Jenkins access. He don't want to manage Jenkins option also, it doesn't require for him. Okay, so for user one, he don't want to see this manage Jenkins option at all completely. So how we can do that part? So that managing the permissions part also we can able to manage in Manage Jenkins. Inside Manage Jenkins, there is a option which is called this one, Configure Global Security. Define who is allowed to access and use the system. Let me click on this Configure Global Security option. And here you can see this is showing where the new users will be maintained. So what type of access that you are going to provide? There are different options in some of the organizations. They will maintain its own database, Jenkins own user database, means the users creation will be maintained inside the Jenkins itself. Some of them they'll create their own Linux kind of user and group database and all. Okay, some of them they'll use some common username and password. It doesn't require, they'll not create separate credentials for individual user and all. Okay, but for now we'll keep this Jenkins own user database as it is. And here there is a checkbox, allow users to sign up. If I check this box and if I save and apply, so if I give some URL, you also can able to sign up. Okay, so you also can able to sign up to the Jenkins. So let me click on save and apply. We can see that option somewhere. Let me copy this URL and let me get that URL will be something like this usually. Let me try sign up. Yeah, you can see if I give this URL, you can able to see this option. Okay, so our Jenkins URL followed by 8080 slash sign up. This is the URL. If I enable that option only in Manage Jenkins, if I enable that checkbox so that everyone can able to sign up, everyone can able to create an account inside the Jenkins. Directly, we can give this URL to the new employees who are joining in our team and just sign up with his own, whatever the username he want, whatever the full name that he want to provide, his mail ID and his password he can provide. So the user will get created, but by default he will can able to log in. He can't able to access anything. Okay. So how we can able to grant the permissions? So once he created his account, he can able to log in, but he can't able to access anything. How we can able to grant the permission? Just go to the same configure global security. So because of this option, so everyone can able to sign up if I share this URL. Okay. So and that users list, once you signed up, right, your username will be displayed under manage users option. Okay, under manage users option, you can able to see that usernames also. Suppose if you want to just give some quick try. Let me, let me post this one in the chat window over here. Want to give a try, just you can try. You can create your own username and so that that user will get added, but that user by default he can't do anything. Okay, so how we can grant the permission? Here you can see authorization option is there. Inside authorization, you can able to select. There are different options to manage the permissions as well, but the most secure part and most easy one is matrix based security. If I select this one, here you can see the logged in user. Okay, suppose let's say you can add a user whoever already created, right? Let's see, user one is already created. For that user one, I'm going to grant some permissions. What permissions you want to give? Suppose overall administrator. If I grant this permission, he has the complete admin permission. He can do everything inside the Jenkins without granting remaining on. Okay, so this is overall administrator permission. Suppose instead of this one, if I give overall read permission, the next one, suppose if I give this one, he can do complete read inside the Jenkins, but he can't do any write related things. Write means he can't able to create some new Jenkins job and all. Okay, so but he can read already existing Jenkins jobs and all. Let me give a try. Okay, so let me click on save and apply. Let me click on save and apply. Now I'll try to log in with that particular user. Instead of this manage this Fanindra Manne, let me log out first and let me try to log in with that user one which we have created. Because we want to see what permissions he has by default. One, two, three. See, now I have logged in with user one. Okay. So the user one currently he's not able to see manage Jenkins option. If you see, he's not able to see manage Jenkins option. He's not able to see new item option is also not there. To create a new job or to create a new item, that option is also not there. Means he can't do anything. Okay. And I think already existing jobs also not being displayed for him. Okay. That is also a point. So we can grant some permissions. Suppose at least to display some jobs, at least if we want to create some jobs without manage Jenkins option, some of that control that we can able to do, but he don't have that permissions, right? So again we have to log out from this particular user and we have to log in with that admin user. Let me log in with admin user and then go to manage Jenkins, and inside the manage Jenkins let me go to, sorry, not manage user. Here you can see some of the user Venkat already got signed up. So now Venkat also can able to see some blank kind of database. He can't able to blank kind of UI. He can't able to see the Jenkins jobs and all. Whatever the user one currently we are seeing, right? Only he can able to see the same UI. Suppose if you want to grant some permissions to user one and this Venkat user, let's go to same this configure global security option. Inside that, so for user one, I want to grant, let's say, there is a job option is there, right? The jobs he wants to read the jobs, let's say. He want to uh, create the jobs or he want to delete the jobs. See, job delete, job create, job configure. Configure is nothing but modifying the existing job. Okay, job cancel, job build. So like that, multiple options are there. Suppose let's say I want to give for the Venkat also. Let me click on OK. For Venkat, let me try to give some read, and he can able to create some jobs. He can able to I don't want to just delete the jobs. He want to just read some jobs. Okay, read job and create job. I don't want to grant him some modifying the job. But user one, let me try to give some modifying the job. So now I'm just saving and applying. Suppose Venkat, now if you want to log in, just you can log in and try. You can see some permissions. Okay, let me try to log out from this one and try to log in with user one. So inside the user one, let me try sign in. User one is missing overall read permission. Okay, I think this one is required mandatory. Let me try to run that. We have to give overall read permission for everyone so that at least they can able to log in and they can see, right? For that, we have to give that overall read permission for all. Let me go to this one. For user one also I'm giving overall read permission. Along with that, some additional permissions I'm giving. Okay. So he can able to create the view, delete the view related permissions, job related permissions, some agent means there is a concept of master slave, I told you, right? That related permissions. Okay. Some credentials, whether he want to create, delete, modify the permissions, that control we can able to do it. So let me go to log out and let me try to log in as user one. Sign in. Here you can see now I logged in as user one, but I am able to see the Jenkins jobs. Earlier I am not able to see. But I don't see manage Jenkins option, but I can see new item option. Means I can able to create the new jobs and all, but I'm not able to create new users because I don't have the manage plugin option, manage Jenkins option. Okay, so I can't able to download the plugins, I can't able to update, and I am not able to manage the users, creation, deletion, all those things I can't able to do it as a user one. Okay, so this is how, suppose let's say if I open the job one and I can see configure option also, means I can able to modify the job and I can delete the job. But currently once Venkat logged in, he can't able to see this configure option for the job one. Okay, so this is how we can able to control what permissions the particular user requires. So that permissions only we will grant it. Okay, so let me log out. So this is about creating the new users and managing the existing user permissions and all over configure global security and manage users. Okay. So manage users, let's say if I want to delete some users, here you can see directly delete option is there. Suppose let's say if some user one comes to me and saying that, hey, I forgot my password. Can you help me to reset me? Here you can see settings option, right? If you click on that one, here you can able to reset the password. Here you can able to reset the password. Then the password will get updated. And his mail ID, if you want to update something, details that you can able to configure, which is related to a user. Okay. So this is about manage Jenkins. Inside manage Jenkins, we some logs, whatever we are doing inside Jenkins, we can see some logs over here, and what particular version of Jenkins you downloaded, what is the license, all those information that you can see about Jenkins, and some Jenkins CLI also there. Suppose AWS UI and AWS CLI is there, right? Similarly, some of the Jenkins job, how we are creating Jenkins job, managing Jenkins jobs in the UI. Similarly, CLI is there. CLI means everything that you can able to do inside the CLI. For that, they will provide some commands for each and everything. Suppose let's say I want to create a job. Okay. See, create job option is there. If you select that one, here they will give the option how you can able to create the job. So Java hyphen jar, this is the jar file of the Jenkins, and this is the URL of your Jenkins, followed by create job is the command, and what is the name of your job. So it will create a new job. Okay, in order to create a new job, you can able to use this command. Let me try to create some job. So where we can execute this job. Let me go to manage Jenkins. So you can get that commands from the Jenkins CLI and you can execute that command in the script console. But we haven't used mostly this option to create the jobs and all. but this is the possibility that I'm telling, it is there. See, now it got executed. There are some errors, it seems. Usually this is a kind of groovy. There is a groovy language will be used inside the Jenkins. So we have to write that one. Jenkins CLI.jar. Some exception inside this jar itself it is showing. It's not executed successfully. If it is executed, where it can able to create one more job by this time. Let me go to dashboard. See, it is not created yet. But if it is executed successfully, that command, where you can able to see that option of creating one more job. Let me do one more. I think for everyone, for every operation, it will be using this option only. For this one, maybe we have to install our Jenkins. There is one more way of installation of Jenkins instead of downloading that direct installation of Jenkins. There is a jar file, war file kind of thing that also you can able to install the Jenkins. Some of the Jenkins installation guides, if you follow, you can see that way. So at the time, you will download some jar file and you will install that jar file in one of the Tomcat instance and where your Jenkins UI will came up. Okay, so that is one more way. So here you can see if I want to copy one job, okay, one of my job I want to copy. This is the source and this is the destination. What is the name of the job in the source location and destination? What will be the name that you want? Okay, those two details if you provide, it will copy the job with that name to this name or this location to this some other location inside the Jenkins itself. It can able to display. Okay, so let me try whether this will works or not. So let's say source job name will be, let's say job one is there and I want to rename it as job three. Okay, I think there is some exception inside this Jenkins jar itself, so it is not getting executed. But this is how you can able to get some commands over there, and you can able to execute. If you want to do some operations instead of working on the UI, if you want to do on the CLI, this is the option. But mostly whoever has some groovy knowledge, whoever can able to write some groovy script, right, they can able to do these things instead of working on the UI. But most of them, because UI also it doesn't require to pay any license and all, right, most of them they'll use that UI only. Okay, so these are the options which are available in Jenkins also. And if you want to shut down the complete Jenkins server, you can able to do this one. Okay, so prepare for shutdown. And other options are, yeah, how the traffic is going on in Jenkins. For that you can able to use this load statistics here, how the user how many jobs are getting executed, how much time it is taking. Some of the graphs will be getting displayed over here. Currently we are using a very less usage, but if you have some hundreds of jobs where you can see some usage statistics over here. Okay, and yeah, there is a global tool configuration is also there. What this will be helpful for. So global tool configuration, this will be helpful to integrate with some other tools, to download some other tools. Suppose let's say in my Jenkins, I want to work with Maven. So for that, I downloaded the Maven related plugin where I can able to see some Maven option, right? If I am trying to create new job, I can see some Maven option. But without Maven installed on this Jenkins server, it doesn't help you to execute some Maven jobs. Okay, let me create some Maven project. Let me create some Maven job or Maven project. So let me select Maven project, click on OK. So now we haven't installed Maven on the Jenkins, but we are trying what exception we'll get, that I want to show you. So inside this, let's say I want to download some code base, some Maven related code base. Let me go to our GitHub URL. Inside the GitHub, some sample Maven related. Let's see, hello world, is it? Yeah, it has some pom.xml. Yeah, you can use this as Maven project. Let me copy the URL. See, now I have copied that URL and it doesn't require any credentials as it is a public repository. And which branch of code that you want to download, let me see, it is master. Okay, you can give that branch name over here. And if you go to the bottom, you can see some of the steps got changed in the build. Earlier, we are not able to see this root POM, goals, option and all. For Maven jobs, you can able to see this option. So root POM, you can keep this as pom.xml, that is fine. Okay. So but here you can see Jenkins need to know where your Maven got installed. Currently Maven is not installed. So that's why it is asking Maven is not installed. Otherwise, if it is installed, Jenkins is not able to recognize that. You can able to do that path. You can give that path to the Jenkins at the tool configuration option. It is giving that option. Okay. So you can go to the tool configuration option. If you install Maven manually inside the Jenkins server, you can give that option. Otherwise, there is a direct way is there. If I go to this tool configuration in Manage Jenkins, here you can see, suppose if I installed Git inside the Jenkins, that I can able to use this option here. Git will automatically install or you are installing Git manually. Okay. Similarly, Maven you can see, add Maven. If I click on add Maven, here you can install. If you click on install automatically, this checkbox, Maven will get installed automatically. And what version of Maven that you want to install also you can able to choose some latest version and the Maven installation. And you can provide some name for this one. Let's say Maven. Okay. Suppose let's say I want to install Maven manually. So you can log into the Jenkins server and you can check in the internet. Install Maven on Ubuntu, right? We installed Ubuntu server yesterday. So Ubuntu 22. So how to install Maven? You can find some document and then you can execute those steps and you can check later Maven hyphen hyphen version if it is showing some version or not. Once it gets installed, you have to copy that path of the Maven. Okay, for the Maven also you need JDK and all. You need JDK. Uh, and after that you have to set that Maven paths also sometime. Okay, so after that if you execute mvn hyphen version you can able to see some Maven version. Okay, so currently we'll go with this default option, install automatically. It will get installed Maven automatically. Let me click on apply and save. So once Maven installed, so now I am trying to create some job, right? Maven job, let me go to that and configure. I'm doing some changes for that job. And if you can see the options over here. So currently, after downloading this code base, okay, the code base got displayed because we haven't saved the job, right? So it lost the code base. So this is the Git URL. Once it is downloaded, this particular repository into the Jenkins workspace, okay. So Jenkins workspace, it can able to recognize the pom.xml. Then only the Maven build and all will happen. Okay. So currently, where is your pom.xml? Once it is downloaded, so you can able to find that pom.xml and what are the goals that you want to execute in your Maven. So usually Maven, I think you might already learn about Maven lifecycle goals by this time. If not, let me give you a quick idea about that. So Maven is a build tool. Okay, so it's a build tool which will be helpful to uh, prepare some artifact from the code base, which will be helpful to deploy that artifacts to the environments. Okay, so the Maven will depend on pom.xml. So if any dependencies for the particular project, all the dependencies will be declared inside the pom.xml file. Okay, and so the pom.xml will contain all the dependencies which are related to Maven, and it is a Maven official website is there, which is called Central Repository, Maven Central Repository. From there, all the dependencies will be downloaded from the Maven Central Repository. So, but you have to maintain the dependency name and version inside the pom.xml. Suppose let me open the pom.xml and show you how it will look like. See, this is how the pom.xml will look like. What is your project name? What is the group ID, artifact ID, and what is the version of your project? Okay, so name of your project, description of your project, and then if there are any modules inside your project, and then if you are using some plugins inside your Maven, and if you have some dependencies box. This is the XML code. Okay, so there are some dependencies also there. Inside the dependencies, you can define multiple dependencies. This is the one dependency. This is the one dependency. So this is the one dependency. So you can get it from the Maven central repository. So if I go to central Maven repository in the browser, yeah, here suppose let's say here they have downloaded some JSP-API, right? JSP-API. Type that one, you can get multiple of that one. Some latest versions also, JSP API, JSP API. Suppose if I click on this one, JSP API, here you can see how you can get that one means. Here we need for Maven, right? Suppose let's say 2.0 if I select. Here if you need for Maven, you can copy this dependency. So this is the one we copied and we maintained over there. So for 2.0, some latest versions are there. Here you can update that versions and all. Suppose if I need this dependency for Gradle, here you can see in Gradle they will define like this. Okay, so there are different tools are there. So Builder is there. If you need the dependency for Builder, you can copy this one. Okay, so usually Maven, you can copy this dependency and you can keep that in the pom.xml file. Okay, so mavenrepository.com, this is the official website of Maven where you can able to get the dependencies list. You can copy that dependency in the pom.xml so that it can able to use it. It can able to download from that official repository to the local repository of the project, and it can able to reuse it. Suppose now we are discussing about Maven goals, right? Next option is Maven goals. What are meant by goals in Maven? So Maven will be helpful to do some operations for the project. Suppose there is a clean option is there. There is a install option is there. There is a package option is there. There is a build option is there. Test option is there. Compile option is there. So what you want to do with the code base? Suppose clean means, so earlier there are some builds are there. Earlier you already built the code one time and it is prepared some artifact. If you want to delete the previous uh, things, that you can able to use Maven clean. So Maven means MVN clean. If you execute this one, it will clean the previous builds. If any artifacts are prepared previously, that will get deleted. Suppose if I use mvn clean install. So install means it will download some related plugins from the Maven central repository. So package, if I use mvn clean install package, it will try to prepare the artifact. Package will be helpful to prepare the artifact. Okay. So now let me try to use clean. Directly clean install package you can use or clean package you can use. So now I have created, right? Let me try to execute the Jenkins job. So now I integrated with Maven. So I downloaded the Maven plugin and I installed Maven by using global tool configuration. Now I am going to use one of the Maven project. So get the console output. See, it will download all the dependencies from the Maven Central repository. Started by the user, it is running on the same system. This is the workspace, okay, and it is downloading all the central. See, report.maven.apache.org. This is the central. From there, it is downloading all the dependencies. Once it is completed, all the dependencies download part. Here, if there are any test cases are written inside your code, the test cases also will get executed. Usually if the some Java application or anything, if you are running in your local, you can see all these history, right? It is interacting with the Maven official repository and it is downloading some dependencies which are required. And here you can see there are multiple modules are there inside our repository itself. So there is a server module is there inside the hello world itself. If you see, there is a server module is there. There is a web app module. Folder is nothing but here kind of a module. So it will be built. It will be preparing individual module. Complete project. Server is one module. Web app is one module. All that build got success. Build got success means what it will do. It will prepare some artifact where you can see that artifact. If you see 1.0 snapshot server hyphen 1.0 snapshot.jar. This jar will be available inside this location. Usually it will be available in where lib Jenkins workspace. This is the common place I told you, right? In Jenkins, this is the common space where it will create a folder for each of your Jenkins job. So my Jenkins job name is Maven job. So inside the workspace, it will create a folder called Maven job, and inside that, it will try to download the uh, it will try to download that particular. So currently inside the server, it will download the repository. Inside that repository, inside this server module, there is a folder will get created that is called target. Inside the target, the jar file will be maintained. So this jar file you can able to deploy to the later environment. Suppose let's say if you have some Tomcat or Apache Tomcat is ready, installation is ready, we can able to directly deploy this jar file, or we can convert this as some war file. You can able to deploy that war file into that one. Here you can see war file is also created. So whatever we want to define, whether you want war file or you want jar file, that you can able to define inside the pom.xml as well. Somewhere they will maintain that configuration as well. Whether I want jar file or war file, that will be maintained inside this pom.xml only. Mm, you can find that somewhere. I think if it doesn't define also, by default, it will prepare all the versions. But here you can see what name of that particular war file, the name that you want. So 1.0 version, what version that you want, that you can able to define it over here. Okay, so this is how you can able to integrate some Maven repositories, and you can execute your related related goals. Suppose currently I executed mvn clean install package. Suppose the prepared artifact, if I want to store in one location, there is one more option which is called deploy. So deploy if I use, but you have to define some URL over here. Suppose let's say Nexus or JFrog, there are some artifactory tools are there. Artifact tools are there. So currently in the market, so many companies they are using JFrog is the one, Nexus is the one. These are some artifact tools. Artifact tools means once that jar file or war file are prepared, so they'll maintain their own JFrog or Nexus, each and every organization. So if we have that JFrog or Nexus, you can get that URL, and you can configure that setup inside your pom.xml, so that whenever you use deploy option, okay, so that artifact will be pushed to that Nexus or JFrog, whichever you are using. Okay, so everything will be depend on this Maven lifecycle goals only, whatever you are executing. Suppose let's say mvn clean install package deploy means it will uh, clean the previous any builds are there, it will get deploy, it will get delete that previous artifacts and all. Install means it will download some plugins or download some dependencies from the Maven official repository. Package means it will prepare some artifact, jar, war kind of files. Deploy means it will put the jar war file to some of the artifact management tools. Okay, so this is how the Maven lifecycle goals will get executed. And one more thing that I want to cover today's session is that Maven integration is completed. And I want to cover, suppose whenever we are creating some jobs, let's say job one is there, for example. Inside the job one, if you can see what other options we have, there is a discard old bills. Discard old bills means previously how many bills that you want to keep. Okay. Suppose let's say last 10 days of bills I want to keep. So 10 days maybe if you executed the job 100 times, you want to keep that 100 jobs in the Jenkins UI, or you want to keep some last 5 days of jobs, that you can able to do it. Suppose, let's say I don't want to keep how many days. Let's say I want to keep maximum 10 jobs only. Okay, the recent 10 jobs history, if I want to see, then I can keep only last 10. Suppose, let's say here I'm keeping last two only. If I click on save and apply. So currently I can see one, right? If I executed the job one more time, one and two I can able to see. One, it is executed on Feb 28. Two, it is executed on March 1st. Suppose let's say build now one more time if I am executing, see third option it is displaying. But if I refresh, automatically the first will get deleted. Why? Because maximum that I can select is only two. The latest two jobs only I want to display. That's why only it will keep the last two. So that you can decide whether you want to keep the number of days or the number of jobs that you want to keep. Usually in the organization, they'll keep some last 10 or last 15, okay, jobs and all. And then, yeah, there is a parameterized option. How it will be helpful for us. Parameterized means some of the jobs that you want to, let's say, string parameter. I want to give some example how you can configure the parameters. Let me use some parameter name as country, and default value, let's say India. Um, choose your country. Let's say I'm giving the description as choose your country. Okay, so choose your country. Let me go to this job. Here I'm defining welcome to Jenkins, right? Followed by echo uh, choose your country. So choose your country. Here you can define the dollar symbol. This is some kind of shell script, right? Inside the script, if you want to define some parameter which you have defined earlier, see country is the parameter, string parameter. If I want to reuse that multiple times, you can define that as dollar country. So that if I click on save and apply, so here now you can't see the build now option. Instead of build now, it will change it as build with parameters. Because you have defined one parameter, so you have to specify what value that you want to give for that parameter. So if I click on build with parameter, it will give some option. Okay. So what is the country? Choose your country. So by default value I selected as India. That's why it will display India. So if you want proceed with this one, you can click on build. Suppose if I want to change this one, you can change whatever you want. So let me click on change. Let me change and click on build. It will get completed. And if you see, choose your country plus US. Sorry, plus is not required. It is displaying that one also. Here you can remove the plus. So choose your country means US we selected, right? Dollar country we selected, that is displaying it as US. Let me configure. So country I selected it as capital letter. I think that's why country capital, and here also let me try to use capital letter. Yeah, if both are small, you can use small, and it doesn't require plus also here. Choose your country followed by some column and echo some drop down I want to use it. Here you can define multiple parameters like that. Suppose let's say Boolean parameter. Okay, so some major or minor that I want to display. Okay, so let me use some Boolean parameter I define, right? Boolean parameter means whether you want to set it as true or false. So major, right? Save and apply. If you can execute this one, you can see. I'm seeing two options now. One is the text box where I can able to enter the country name, and the other one, whether if you are a major, you can select this checkbox. So Boolean value will be treated as true. If you doesn't select this one, Boolean value will be selected as false. Let me select this one and proceed with the default value India. Let me click on build. Now, if you see the previous one, are you major? Here you should get true value. Choose your country means India we are getting, right? So similarly, echo are you measurements here are you measurements we should get true. I think it is missing. I don't know why. Let me go to configure. Set by default. Dollar measure will be used capital M. Yeah, that's why. See here, there we used capital M and here we use small m. Now if you see apply and build with parameters. So by default it is selected because we selected the option over there. If you want, you don't want, you can uncheck. That's it. So click on build, and if you see the latest build, here you can see I haven't selected the box. Are you measure? False. Means it is how. If you doesn't select the box, it will give it as false. If you check that box, give it as true. So somewhere in the shell script, you have to reuse some parameters. That's why you can use some string parameters. You can use some. There are multiple options are there. If you go to the parameters option, if you can see, there are multiple other options are there. I'm giving some examples so that you can practice remaining things. Boolean parameter, some choice parameter, where it will give some radio buttons kind of thing. Whether I want to choose this city or this, which city you belongs to, you can give some options, 3 or 4. You can select which city you belongs to. Some credentials parameter, it will be display the password and all. Password parameter, it will be hash coded format, it will display. Okay. So this is how some parameters we can able to reuse it. Some address, if you want to write some address kind of thing, multi-line string parameter that you can use it. Okay, this is how parameters will be helpful. And there is a execute concurrent builds if necessary means usually if it doesn't select this job, if it doesn't select this checkbox, so this job will execute only one. Means at a time in your Jenkins, multiple jobs are getting executed. Okay, so this job will not get executed if you doesn't select this box. If you select this box means execute concurrent builds means same time other jobs execute also, no problem for me. I'm selecting this checkbox means this is not that much important job. So if there are any other jobs executing also, no problem for me. That I am setting. Okay. So if you doesn't select this box, this job executing time, there will not other jobs will get executed. Okay, some important jobs and all, if you don't want to share your Jenkins server with other jobs at the time, you can able to select this box. And source code management, we already seen how we can if you don't want to provide anything, you can select none. If you want to provide something, you can select that URL and all. And build triggers, this we have to discuss. This needs some time, so maybe tomorrow session we will try to cover this one. And delete workspace before the build gets starts. Currently, here we are getting some workspace, right? Every job, for every job, it is creating some workspace. So if you see, the job is getting executed in var lib Jenkins workspace. Inside the workspace, it is creating a folder as job one, right? So every time, whenever the new job gets starts, I want to delete the previous workspace. The job one previous history will get deleted, and the next job again it will create the job one folder, and the new uh, workspace will get created. The previous workspace will get deleted if you select this box before the Jenkins jobs will get started. And if you want to use some secrets and all, you can able to use this option. How to add that secret certificate or secret file kind of credentials earlier we have configured. So something like one by one option, wherever you want. If you need some description here, there is some helper also. You can go and read that description. You can able to use that option. Okay. And if you need some timestamps also for the console output, however you are displaying, if you need some timestamps for each and every line, which time it got executed and all, you can able to add this option. Okay. And suppose if you are executing some shell scripts, you can select this shell script option over here. Other than that, if you are executing some Gradle script, you can use this one. If you are executing some AND, or if you are working on some Windows batch script, you can execute this option. You can use this option to write some batch code. Like that, multiple options are there. And post build, once the Jenkins job execution got completed, what options that you want to do? Suppose, let's say, once the Jenkins job completed, I want to send some email kind of notification. Okay, you can provide your mail ID. Suppose if any Jenkins job got failed, I want to send some notification. You can give your mail ID. If any time your Jenkins job got failed, that will send some alert to it. So you can give multiple mail IDs also. Comma separated values you can give. You can provide multiple mail IDs also. Okay. So like that, after the Jenkins job completed, what options that you want to do? There are multiple, but usually we'll use some notification kind of thing. Okay. Or you can delete the workspace. Suppose let's say once my Jenkins job completed, let's say I want to delete my workspace. If you select this option, your workspace gets deleted. So these are the multiple options that are available inside the Jenkins job. How to configure and all. Only build triggers option is pending inside the Jenkins. That needs some time, some 20 minutes time we require. So this is also important to cover. Okay. Suppose currently every time we are executing the job manually, right? By using build now option we are executing. But here we will automate that part. We will integrate with GitHub. Whenever we push some code to the GitHub repository, automatically my Jenkins job will get triggered because of these options. And here, some particular time window, automatically my Jenkins job will get started. Okay, so this is how we can able to automate that. If you want, you can just try these options, build periodically, some time period, how the jobs will get automatically gets executed. And here, whenever some code is pushed to the GitHub repositories, how the job gets executed. If you want, just you can try, give a try. But tomorrow session, I will try to cover that part as well. With that, we'll start for today's session. Any queries for anyone? Sorry, we have taken some 10 minutes of time more today.
I'm good, Fali. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Venkat. Yeah, thanks everyone. If no questions, we can drop off. We'll meet tomorrow. We'll try to cover Jenkins, complete Jenkins tomorrow, setting up that master slave configuration and this build triggers option. What other options are remaining, we'll try to cover tomorrow session. Day after tomorrow, we'll start Ansible.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe.